Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to team meeting number 55. Today we're going to be discussing some new classes. Next week we're going to launch something very cool, which I'm going to talk about. We have some questions from the group. Linda, there's another special announcement. God, we have so many special announcements. And we're course numbering for transfer. Rob, what's course numbering for transfer?
All right. Well, we'll start off also by welcoming anyone who is watching from Startup Study Group. That is an online collaboration on Slack that Daniel and I are members of, and it's a group of both investors, entrepreneurs, and other interested parties who are working on all kinds of different startups. So it's on Slack, but it has a website, which is Startup Study Group. And what's the exact link, Daniel?
It's SSG.space. That's it.
Okay, SSG.space. And check it out. It's a great website and a really great organization, and excellent discussions. So we might have a few people who are participating from there. Because as you know, all our online meetings are open to anyone who wants to take a look. So let's start off with new classes. Dan, can you tell us about any of the new classes that have been approved and or are also under development?
Yep, I'm just logging on. Excuse me. So actually, let's come back to it because I gotta poke around for a minute.
Okay, why don't we then move to next week to our incentives program and talk a little bit about that we're launching next week.
Yep. So I'll start off. If you'll see it here, I'm actually working on that currently. This is one of our new features, allowing people to send out invitations to people and incentivize that they come on board by giving them credits to use in the store, to use in the marketplace. Is that right?
Yep, we're going to, what basically is happening is that one of the ways in which you can get scale, when you can start to attract students or other businesses to use Oplerno and also help faculty, is to offer incentives for people in terms of recruitment who are already members of the community. So what's going to happen is that if you recruit a student to join Oplerno and successfully complete a course, we're going to be offering you a credit on the next class you take. And what's really great is those credits can stack. So if you're short of cash and you want to pay for an Oplerno course, you're going to be able to help us recruit students and have those credits build up enough credits to pay for a course or series of courses. That's part of our commitment to lower the cost of higher ed. There are going to be some guidelines about how you recruit students that we're going to be publishing, but it's all, the above board piece. Remember that our courses are able to be transferred for credit at another university if it chooses to accept them. We also are really clear about the refunds that are available. You can refund your entire course, the course cost, up to the first 2 weeks of the class, and the marketplace and the faculty. So we don't want to overpromise. We also, though, really want to make sure that people understand that word of mouth advertising and activating your own social networks is really, really important to the growth. And one of the reasons why we're using this strategy versus, let's say, buying a bunch of Google AdWords or SEO is to deal with one, cost. If our user acquisition costs are very, very high, we then will have to transfer that cost to the faculty and to the students, and we don't want to do that. The other piece is that we really want to build a social network in the community. And one of the ways you can do that relatively easily is by creating these kinds of recruitment incentives. And they've been quite successful in the past to get that initial level of traction that's needed for startups like ourselves. Okay. Anybody want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, I want to add this, especially if that's one of the reasons why one of the reasons that I personally like the incentives is because it also it allows not just students but also faculty to be able to send out their invitations to ask people to come to their course and to say, if you come to my course, I'll give you an incentive for whether that's a reduction on my course, or say a kickback on the next course for you to use on the next course, which is of course amazing for people to be able to use it.
Yep, and again, it stacks, so you can recruit a bunch of people and then pay for your course.
Yeah. Yeah, my calculation was if you recruit 10 people, you can, for most of our courses, say for our advice price, if you recruit 10 people, you should be able to get a course for free. Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to be launching that. Will be the part of our website and marketplace that will be available starting next week. So, Dan, are you ready to talk a little bit about the new courses?
Yep.
Okay.
So some new courses that have been added in the past couple of weeks. History of Typography. That one's going to cover some InDesign work through Adobe InDesign, which is awesome. We have a new approved course, Pirates, Jacktars, and Sea Dogs, a history course covering the times of pirating around the world. And then some others that I never announced, but folks will likely be able to use and would be, in my opinion, strong transfer courses. Collaborative Statistics, College Writing 101, Introduction to Political Science. One that's a little more specialized, Cyber Defense for Managers. And we also just approved Employment Law for Business from Brad Knott, who was one of the attendees and, quote, students in Rob's first round of the Oplerno course building for Oplerno faculty. And I guess that's a good segue into, we just got the heads up from our new instructor that she has finished, Linda Kaiser, Dr. Kaiser, she has finished up building those. So now we will go in, give those their check over and do any final tweaks. But we should open those for enrollment today. And if any faculty watching want to jump in, the courses are going to be there's 2 levels of pedagogy, and then there's 2 levels of course design. Pretty much it had been a beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. So those will be open today, and we'll get them all polished up for, I think we're going to do a May 1st start, so that gives everyone a couple of weeks to get involved. And of course, there's always the opportunity for private time, sort of private lessons, clinics with Dr. Kaiser. I think my personal advice to anyone interested in that is to take a 2-week course for $150, which will provide you with the orientation needed to then be ready for the private lessons, because if you don't take the 2-week course and then you want to do private lessons, there's still an orientation, and of course Dr. Kaiser's time is worth good money, so you would have to pay for that orientation. So I say might as well jump in, take a course, then you're free and kind of pre-approved for the technical aspects, and knowing how to use Google Hangouts, knowing how to navigate Canvas efficiently. All that stuff would be covered, and you could just jump right into private tutoring sessions or clinic sessions, however you want to describe them. So yeah, that's exciting. I do think, and essentially what Rob and I have sort of decided is, we are here to provide feedback for your courses as faculty. We are not in the position where we have enough time or resources to be course development instructors. So this is why we have brought on Dr. Kaiser in this way, because what it allows us to do is focus on, operational core Oplerno work, and it allows Dr. Kaiser to provide what she's trained and sort of become an expert in. And then as a faculty member, you win because you're getting the most, efficient, direct instruction from the right people, and then we can improve your class, and we're all moving forward, firing on more cylinders. Again, but we are happy to give initial feedback, just like we've been doing. If any of the instructors who've experienced kind of the course development and approval process, you'll know that I'll go through your course and I'll video cast my screen and kind of show you what I think would be some good tweaks, but that's about the level that we can provide at this time, hence Dr. Kaiser's opportunity. So keep an eye out for that. We'll send out an email, a good announcement email with links to enroll and a little more, perhaps, quick blurbs, so you can just pick what you want and jump in.
Now, I want to highlight a couple things that Dan was saying. One of the reasons why we did this is because Linda is a much better online pedagogical guide and instructor than we are. So why wouldn't we create an opportunity where one of our faculty members can earn more money by helping out and supporting our community? And Linda Kaiser is excellent. So by having her take on that role directly, we're helping out one of our faculty members with employment, with a job, and also with support for us, which is all about what community should be about. The second piece is, some of you may say, well, why not offer this stuff for free? Okay. Number one, it is a time issue for our small team. We've got our team's growing, but it's small, and so it's time for us. It's quality, and really the third piece is that remember that all faculty own the IP of everything that they produce. Okay, so when you produce a class, it's yours, and it's yours forever. And the amount of money, $175 to take a class, if you don't have, there's some people that need that level of support. Okay, because what we've noticed in terms of faculty recruitment is that people come to Oplerno with all kinds of different skill levels. What we don't want to have happen is the people who already know how to do all of this kind of pedagogical work online and can produce the classes and teach. To be blunt, they shouldn't be subsidizing the work of the people who need to get caught up, who need to develop those particular skills. So we've got some, amazing instructors. While Brad took the class, Brad's a pretty good instructor, and he's got a lot of other services that he offers. And we've got Greg Sadler, Claretta Pam, and names that I'm not even mentioning here, all who are real experts in online teaching and pedagogy. But we've got other people who really haven't used Google Hangouts, but who want to get into teaching. So we wanted to provide for them a gateway to enter and improve their skills and start developing classes and getting the support they need at a much more sophisticated level than what Dan and I can provide given our time constraints. So that's why we're doing this. And please, you can email Linda Kaiser with any questions. Remember that when you register for a course at Oplerno, you can contact the professor. You can review the syllabus ahead of time, all those particular things before you pay your money. And remember, the courses are 2 weeks long. We realized that 6 weeks was too long for the course that I taught, that they can be broken down into much smaller segments of 2 weeks. Those courses are non-credit bearing, okay? So they don't count in terms of a certificate or a transfer credit. But if people can, our faculty or outsiders can take this class, with Linda and earn and learn quite a lot. So we're really happy to have her. Okay. Dan, do you want to talk a little bit about the course numbering for transfer credit?
Yeah, sure. So we have been starting to look at what it's like to transfer credits. It is a straightforward process, and I'm sure over half of the people who are involved in Oplerno have taken part in this process. But essentially, a lot of universities have a pre-approval webpage, and it's very simple. It's usually probably would take you 4 to 8 minutes to fill out, but they do ask for a more traditional course numbering system. So at Oplerno, we were not trying to break everyone out into siloed groups. We were sort of excited to have just an institutional level of openness to designate, we don't have a statistics department or, sociology department, so to speak, because that just creates bureaucracy and wastes time a lot of the time. Not that it could be efficient too. Let's not knock it wholly, but so with realizing that and understanding that, we really do want to do everything we can to help students transfer these credits. We know that the quality of the course is comparable because these are real instructors who have taught at the college level, who have the credentials and experience, and who've gone through, our review process to a point where we're all comfortable with the quality and the delivery. So we want to start numbering courses. Now, this might be something that we could include in an email too. We don't have to. I don't think there's a huge time crunch on it, but we should get it done, soon. And I don't know what we want to do, if we want to break it down into super specific designations. Like, we have a few future studies courses. Do we have a future studies department, or are we going to be more like? And this is kind of my vote initially. We have sort of like humanities department or numbering prefix, social science, humanities, fine arts, physical science, language, or whatever, computer science. Just if it fits under sort of what a college level would be, or even a multi-department level, I think that's the best way. And then individual other individual schools who are reviewing the credits, they're all going to have different departments anyway. Not everyone has, like UVM has community development and applied economics. I've only heard of one other of those departments in the world. So that's not always going to transfer, but those generally transfer as like econ or social science credits. So I was kind of thinking, if we keep it broad, that will give an indication of where the course might fall in the traditional sort of structure, but it will also allow the receiving college to sort of plop it into their appropriate department without having to go through too much trouble.
Dan, a question about the. I mean, it might be a little bit too technical for the online meeting, but would it be possible to have, say, if we know where the transfers are going to look up for for certain courses to see where it would fit best in their departments, so that we can actually have, say, one course which is, I don't know, a social science course, which would be probably have a humanities prefix for one university or for one college, and have a social science prefix for a different college. Maybe this merits doing some calling around, but I've also seen credits come in as A and be transferred as B to a different department. So, and like, again, some colleges have 4 numbers, like humanities 1642, and then some have 3, and then some use 0 level, and some use 400 level or 4000 level. So I think we have the freedom to do it. I just to me it's something where we could hopefully make the right decision sooner and not have to backtrack. Essentially.
Yeah, the numbering is always tricky, and it takes up an exorbitant amount of time, and of course there's no standardization for the numbers.
Right.
And we're just gonna. The point, though, of us in terms of working with students to deal with the transfer credit is that you've got the syllabus, you've got the professor's CV, and then, of course, if the student gives us permission, we can pull any data from Canvas that they want to prove the academic rigor of the course, and then send that to the registrar or the department chair for approval. So each institution has its own particular shtick with this, and we will be working with all of the institutions. Whenever a student wants to transfer a credit, we'll be on the phone with that educational institution and making sure things go well. And if you've got questions, if you're a student and you want to register for a class about getting pre-approval, send us an email and contact us so that we can help you along with that. Okay?
Yeah,
Great.
you can questions to questions@oplerno.com.
Yep, questions@oplerno.com. But you can also email admissions and info @oplerno.com. And you can email me, skiff@oplerno.com, and we'll get you in contact with the right person. Okay.
So switching these over, Canvas has a place for all the courses to have a shorthand number, so I think that's where we'll do this. I don't know if we want it. We can talk about putting it on the website. I don't want to sort of pigeonhole a course in someone's mind before, you know, I think the course title should stand alone, and then the secondary supporting feature is its numbering. You know, I wouldn't want someone to jump in and be like, oh, that's designated under humanities. I don't like humanities, but they might, if they looked just at the course title and then read about it, they might actually like it.
I totally agree. And besides, the siloing thing is a real problem in institutions. And so this, you know, we will have course numbering. Hey, faculty out there who are listening to the team meeting, you know, tell us what you think, how we should navigate this. I think it's, you know, probably, you know, not going to be hidden, but it's not going to be prominently displayed like happens on all these catalogs. Okay. All right. Questions. I've received one question from a faculty member, and it was regarding the American with Disabilities Act and the idea of us closed captioning, having to close caption all of our videos and even the lecture formats. So let me talk a little bit about how we handle ADA requests that come into Oplerno. If someone needs closed captioning for a particular course and help in taking that class, we're going to do everything possible to convert and to have that course done. We're going to be really upfront about the costs of that, but there are all kinds of different technological fixes that we can do in terms of making courses accessible for people who are deaf and hearing impaired. So if that comes up, you know, we have in the student contract procedures of who to contact. Again, as the CEO and Chief Academic Officer right now, if you have an issue like that, you need to contact me. And but that's pretty clear about pretty clear in the contract. And that hasn't come up yet. And when it does, we'll deal with it. I've got a bunch of different experience in terms of dealing with those types of requests, and have always, you know, we've always been able to accommodate those needs, because after all, accessibility to education is what we're all about, and you can't be excluding people because of you know, some physical disability. Okay, but great question. Okay, unless somebody else, unless there's, let me just check Slack. Maybe there's something that's come through with that.
Oh, does Sujin want to talk about our new homepage? Did we bring that up?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
It's been up for a while.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week.
One of the things I've been
Okay.
We mentioned it last week, yes.
Yeah, it's now live, so check it out. Yep. Go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, so by all means, go check it out at oplerno.com. And one of the things I try to do was make it more accessible to a random person who might be stumbling across the Oplerno website. And you can send me any feedback directly, Sujin at oplerno.com. And please do let me know what you think of it.
Great. Hey, we're going to keep the meeting a little bit shorter today, because we've actually got a lot of stuff that we're going to be going over in our closed meeting, which we'll tell you about in the next couple of weeks. Thank you all very much for attending. Again, you can contact us at questions@oplerno.com. You can check us out on Slack. Sorry, you can check us out on Slack. If you're a faculty member, you can join our faculty Slack page. You can shoot us emails, get in contact with us online. You guys know how to do that. Twitter feeds, all kinds of cool stuff. And we'd love to hear what you think about what we're doing at Oplerno, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you online.